The dog showed up on a Monday, matted fur, limp in his back leg, missing half an ear, wandered into the Dollar General parking lot like he knew where he was going. People ignored him, except for one. Her name was Edith Walker, retired nurse, 68, widowed. She drove a green Buick and lived on the same street since 1974. She saw the dog sniffing at a trash bin, then collapsing under a shopping cart. She walked over, offered him a piece of her ham sandwich. He looked up, tired, starved, and wagged once. She lifted his collar. No name, just a rusted army tag. Instead of a name, it read, "If found, coordinates 31.1721 to GN, 100 GW. She'd seen dog tags before. Her husband wore one. So did her father, and both had died wearing them. But this was something different. She took the dog home, fed him broth, cleaned his paw, named him Buddy, then opened her laptop, typed the numbers into Google Maps. The coordinates pointed to a forested patch off Farm Road 218, 15 miles west. Private property, no buildings, no markers, just trees. Most people would have let it go, but not Edith. She'd spent 30 years working night ER shifts. She could tell when something was wrong. And that dog, he wasn't wandering, he was looking. So she drove out the next morning, took Buddy with her. He perked up as soon as they hit the dirt road, sat up, stared out the window. When she pulled over, he jumped out before she even opened the door, started walking into the trees. They walked for half a mile. Thorns, dust, quiet. Then Buddy stopped, sat down, whimpered, scratched at the dirt. That's when she saw it, a metal corner, barely sticking out from the leaves. She knelt, dug with her hands. It was a shipping container, buried, only the top corner exposed, painted green, no markings, no rust, newer than it should have been. She called 911. The sheriff arrived an hour later, young, unimpressed. She told him what she'd found. He frowned, kicked some dirt, said, "Probably some old junk. These woods are full of weird stuff." But when they pried it open, the smell hit first. Inside was a body, wrapped in a military sleeping bag. Uniform, dog tags, rank, staff sergeant, name, Eric Maddox. The sheriff turned pale, then angry. "Why didn't you call the property owner first?" Edith snapped back. "I didn't think I needed permission to report a corpse, deputy." They took the body, loaded it into a van. Buddy tried to jump in after it, whined the whole drive home. Edith watched the van disappear, then looked down at the dog. "You knew him, didn't you?" The news ran a short story. Remains of veteran found in rural Texas woods. No follow-up, no interviews, just a name. Edith Googled it. Eric Maddox, Army Ranger, 2 tours in Afghanistan, listed as AWOL in 2014, dishonorably discharged, never found. She didn't buy it, not for a second. She called a friend, Janie, who used to work in veteran benefits, asked if she could pull any records. Janie said, "That name's flagged, can't access his file, says secured, DOD only." Why would a missing soldier's record be classified? That night, Buddy wouldn't eat. He just laid on the porch, staring into the dark. So Edith took off his collar again, ran her fingers along the inside, felt something. A small slit in the leather. Inside, a micro SD card. She held it up, whispered, "What were you trying to show me, boy?" Edith didn't sleep that night. She sat at the kitchen table, holding the tiny SD card between her fingers, afraid to insert it, afraid of what she'd see. But she knew what fear felt like, and this wasn't it. She slid the card into her old phone. It opened one file, a video. Timestamp, May 12th, 2015, 04:07 a.m. The screen flickered, then showed a man's face, unshaved, eyes sunken, but calm. Staff Sergeant Eric Maddox. He looked straight into the lens. "If you're seeing this, it means I didn't make it out." Edith leaned forward. Buddy, the dog, rested his chin on her knee. Eric continued, "I didn't run. I didn't go rogue. I didn't lose my mind. I saw something they didn't want me to see." He took a shaky breath. 2013, Helmand Province. We were on escort detail, supposed to watch a shipment headed to a local base. But the containers weren't weapons, or medical. They were filled with bricks of cash, US dollars, hundreds of millions. He looked away, swallowed. We were told to shut up, not ask, but I reported it anyway. 2 weeks later, our convoy was hit. I survived, barely. 2 of my guys didn't. The next day, I was marked AWOL. They sent me home in silence, said I cracked, said I was dangerous. He held up a document, blurred but legible, an internal memo. Header: Tri-Shield Logistics, U.S. Defense Subcontractor. Subject: Maddox Interference, Escalation Protocol. I've been in hiding ever since. I live in the woods. Buddy keeps me safe, but they found me twice. I won't make it a third time. He paused, then whispered, If anyone finds this, please, tell my family I tried. I wasn't a traitor. I was a soldier. The screen went black. Edith sat still for a long time. Then she whispered, You poor brave boy. The next morning, she drove to the sheriff's office, asked to speak to someone about reopening Maddox's case. The deputy at the desk raised an eyebrow. Ma'am, that case was closed a decade ago. She slid the SD card across the desk. Then this should open it again. They took the card, told her to wait, then said the file was corrupted. Nothing's on it, ma'am. But she saw the way they looked at each other. She saw the lie. So she went to the press, local reporter, young, skeptical, until she saw the video. Then she said, Holy hell, that's a story. Her name was Riley, freelance, used to work in Austin, fired for publishing a story the paper didn't like. Now she ran an independent blog called Dead Ground. They uploaded the video. Within hours, it was everywhere. Headline: Dead hero or silenced whistleblower, one dog may hold the truth. The Pentagon issued a statement, called the video heavily manipulated, said Maddox was discharged due to psychological instability, said Tri-Shield Logistics was a trusted contractor. But comments poured in, from other soldiers, from families. One man wrote, I was there, I saw the cash. Another said, I knew Eric, he wasn't crazy, he was honest, that's why they buried him. Then Riley got a warning. Her car brakes failed. She got a message. Stay quiet, or you'll be next. Edith's house was broken into. Drawers ransacked. Nothing stolen. Just a message. A smashed photo of her husband. And Buddy's tag placed next to it. But she didn't stop. She sent the file to every senator in Texas. Only one replied. A woman named Senator Graves. Veteran. Widow. She said, If this is real, I'll help. But you need more. So Edith and Riley started digging, found 3 other soldiers from Maddox's unit. 2 were dead, 1 was homeless in New Mexico. They found him. He said, They paid off our silence with pills, and when that didn't work, they made us disappear. He gave them names, dates, and one final lead. There's a USB drive. Maddox hid it, under a marked rock, near where the dog always ran. That night, Edith took Buddy back to the woods. He sniffed, walked in circles, stopped under a tree stump, dug. She found it, wrapped in cloth, waterproof casing, inside a USB stick, labeled, Last Light, Do Not Trust Anyone. She plugged it into Riley's laptop. Inside, financial logs, names of Pentagon officials, Tri-Shield payouts, a list of internal neutralizations. Eric Maddox's name was number 12. Next to it, executed, contained, status, denied. They had everything. But now they were being hunted. Edith packed her suitcase. Only the essentials, her blood pressure pills, a copy of Eric's video on a flash drive, and Buddy's collar, the one with the tag that started it all. She and Riley boarded a red-eye flight to Washington. Riley wore sunglasses and a hoodie. Edith wore her husband's Air Force jacket. Buddy sat between them, curled tight. No one spoke. They knew what they were walking into. Senator Graves met them in a nondescript brick office near Capitol Hill. No press, no flags, no welcome. Just, Are you ready to shake the system? They handed her the USB. She read every name, every dollar, every lie. Then she said, We're not leaking this to the media. We're going live. 3 days later, they stood in a room full of lights and cameras. National press, broadcast networks, a podium with the seal of the United States Senate. Senator Graves stepped up, held up a photo of Staff Sergeant Eric Maddox, said, This man was declared a deserter. They called him unstable, but he was murdered, by silence, because he told the truth. She plugged in the flash drive, played the video, Eric's face, his voice, his truth, on every screen in America. The room went silent, then erupted. Panic in the Pentagon. Tri-Shield stocks crashed. Senate hearings announced. Subpoenas flew. The Department of Defense issued a statement. We are opening an internal review into the practices surrounding Tri-Shield logistics and the disappearance of Staff Sergeant Maddox. But it was too late. They had to identify the body. DNA confirmed. Eric Maddox, KIA, 2015. His record was amended. From AWOL dishonorable to killed in action, service commendation pending. A full military funeral was held, not in Arlington, but back home in Texas. Edith asked for it, so his mother could be there, so his old unit, what was left of it, could stand with heads held high. Buddy walked in front of the casket. They draped it in the flag, played taps, folded the cloth, gave it to his mother. She said, I knew he was good, I just didn't know how good. Edith was the last to speak. She walked to the podium, hands shaking, voice firm. I didn't know Eric Maddox, not really, but I found his friend. A dog who wouldn't leave his side. A dog who led me to the truth. She paused, looked at Buddy. He stared back, tail still, quiet, listening. I think this country forgets people too fast, especially the broken ones, the quiet ones, the honest ones. But this man didn't deserve to be buried in the dirt. He deserved a flag. He deserved his name. He deserved to come home. Silence. Then applause. Later that week, the president awarded Eric the Silver Star, posthumously. Edith accepted it, with Buddy at her side. Tri-Shield was investigated. 7 arrests, 2 resignations, billions in contracts frozen. A new law was passed, the Maddox Protection Act, new protocols for whistleblowers in the military, better tracking of AWOL cases, no more disappearances. Riley's story won a Peabody. She started a foundation to help veterans who'd been silenced. She called it Dead Ground. And Edith? She went back to her small house. Buddy lived out the rest of his days there, warm, safe, loved. He passed 2 years later, peacefully, with his head on her lap. She buried him next to her husband, and next to Eric. And every year, on Memorial Day, people gather there, not for the medals, not for the titles, but for a man who told the truth, and a dog who wouldn't let him be forgotten. Thank you for watching. If you want to get more of that kind of stories, press like and check out our channel.